Hey everybody, welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today is the first day of Vlogmas. Yay! I'm sorry I don't have an advent calendar for you guys this year. I looked and looked, but I couldn't find one that was in my budget and that I liked. And I don't feel like the ones that are just a picture or just a little saying are really as good as the ones that are like opening something. So I couldn't find one that was in my budget, unfortunately. But you never know, I might find one in the middle of the month and start opening things randomly. I don't know. We shall see. So today I'm going to send out a request before I start this video and ask all of you guys to leave in the comments below video ideas and things that you would like to see me do. If you have a book that I've mentioned before that you'd like to see a full review on, let me know. If you have certain tags you'd like to see done, let me know. If you have a top 5 video you'd like to see, let me know. I am not going to be doing a lot of Christmassy sorts of things. I want to sort of like feel the Christmas vibes and everything, which is why I have I have my Cindy Lou Who mug. She is ready and raring to go, but the tea is so hot it's gonna burn my hand. Ow. But I just want to know what you guys want to see, because with 24 days to fill up, I really have a lot of time and energy to put into this, but I don't have as many ideas as I would like to for 24 days worth of videos. So again, it's not going to be all Christmas themed. It's actually going to be very minimally Christmas themed, because I don't have the funds to make big gift guides. I don't have the... I don't have the ability to make all that Christmassy stuff happen as much as I would like to. I don't have it, and it's also very hard to maintain 24 days of Christmas conversation if you don't have very much to talk about. So I will be doing a feminist gift guide, which will just be cute and silly, I promise. It's not going to be that serious. And I'm doing the 30 books in 30 days challenge. I will link the original video down below. So I'm going to be doing a lot of just go, 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 and I'm going to be filming these in bulk, and so you're going to see a lot of the same outfits and a lot of the same angles. So bear with me. I'm going to start this whole season off with my wrap-up for November. There is a lot here, so I think I will still do a top 5 books of the month. I really liked how that came out. Let me know down in the comments below if you enjoyed the top 5 as well. I think it's a good way to do things, but I finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 books in the second half of November. So I finished... Did I finish 32 books? That doesn't make sense. I can't have finished 32 books. Did I? I either finished 30 or something to that extent. So I finished a lot of books this month. I tried to stick to nonfiction November. It didn't work entirely well. I am going to go in order of how they are stacked, because it's a lot of organizing, and yeah. I'll kind of tell you which ones I really loved and which ones. So I had 2 rereads. Anyway, I'll explain them as I go. You guys don't care. So one of the books that I read this month is The Inconvenient Indian. Now, this is by Thomas King. I went into this book expecting to fall in love and to feel a lot of feels and to be completely immersed in it and understand what was happening and to be absolutely horrified by what I found out. I was horrified, like absolutely horrified by what I found out. I find that what I found out for the history of what we did to the Native Americans is just horrific. It is horrendous, and it is completely inappropriate, and how we treat them now is just terrible. It's an ongoing problem, and it's just really, really heartbreaking. However, I found there were too many facts in this book. Not that I don't like facts, but I found that there was too much data-like facts where I was reading numbers and they weren't all sinking in because I just felt like there was too many of them. So it would go through pages where I would just feel like, oh my gosh, I am so bogged down by information, I can't focus. So that was a real disappointment for me. I definitely thought that it was a worthwhile book to read, and I will reread it because I might get more on the second read, but I definitely think that there was a lot in it that just was a little much, if that makes sense. Then a reread, you guys, this is Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. I brought this with me to Thanksgiving because my family is going through a lot right now, and I needed something that was a comfort. So this is what I brought, as well as another book. I brought 4 books, but this and the other one I brought were my rereads that were just for comfort. I gave this one 4 stars. It's not my favorite out of the Harry Potter series. I find that there's a lot more character development in it than I remember there being, and I definitely thought that Ron deserved his howler. I just, in general, enjoyed it. I didn't love it, and I didn't adore it. It's also not my favorite film. So in general, I think this plot is just not the one that I love the most. But it was fun to read, and it was just a good, easy, quick thing to digest. Then, this is one of the other books I brought with me to Thanksgiving. This is A Girl Walks Into a Book, What the Brontes Taught Me About Life, Love, and Women's Work. It's by Miranda Pennington, and I adored this. I thought it was really well executed, really interesting. It gave a lot of facts about the Brontes and what they kind of encourage in different women and what they encourage in society and how they've affected the world and how they've affected feminism. It was really brilliant, and I highly recommend it, especially if you're a Bronte fan. I myself am a Anne and Charlotte fan. I have not yet gotten into Emily. I tried Wuthering Heights and it was a no-go for me, but I definitely think that Charlotte and Anne are phenomenal people, and I think that Emily is a phenomenal person, just maybe not in love with her books, if that makes sense. So I do recommend this if you like the Brontes. My other reread this month was Furiously Happy by Jenny Lawson. Again, 5-star reads. If you guys want to see someone else's thoughts on this beside my own, I'm going to link Amy Poole's review on this right down below in the description box, because she's a sweetheart, and I really think you guys need to go check out her channel. But for me, in general, this is one of my all-time favorite books. This is something that really talks about mental illness from a funnier perspective, and it really gives an honest description of what it's like to live with mental illness on a daily basis. It's one of the best books out there for mental health conversation, because it is one of the easiest ones to talk about mental health. It doesn't sugarcoat it, but it also doesn't make it into this really serious, intense topic. I highly recommend it. Then we have Ta-Nehisi Coates' We Were 8 Years in Power, an American Tragedy. I enjoyed this. I found myself a little frustrated because I felt there were parts that were repetitive. And I think that that was really my only concern with the book. I think it's brilliant. I think that it's a really interesting conversation about the history of Black people in America and what Barack Obama really meant to them and what Barack Obama stood for. I think that there's a lot of importance to this book, and it's really brilliant. I just think that there's a couple of moments where they repeat themselves and their ideas, and I think that that kind of took away from the book, and it did actually down my ratings a little bit. So, I recommend it. I just think you should be aware that there are some repeated thoughts, just like what I've done now. I apologize. Ugh, I was sent this for review. This is Lewis Undercover, and it's by Franny Bitt and Isabel Arsenault. And this is a graphic novel that was sent to me by Groundwood Books, or House of Anansi Press. This is a graphic novel depicting a young boy as he watches his father go further and further into alcoholism and what that experience looks like while his parents are trying to separate at the same time. I really thought it was beautifully done. I think it's a really interesting conversation, and I think it dives into the conversation of alcohol and alcoholism really well, and it kind of shows and demonstrates what a child's view could be on such a big illness. So I do recommend this book. I like Jane the Fox and Me better, but I do think this is a great one, and I highly recommend it. Then we have What Future? The Year's Best Ideas to Reclaim, Reanimate, Rejuvenate the Future, and it's edited by Tori Bosch and Roy Scratton, and okay, so this is a compiled group of essays or articles, whichever you prefer to call them, from different publications within the US, talking about the future and what it looks like and how our environment is going to be affected and how politics is going to be affected and what's going on right now and how we got to the point where Donald Trump is in office. It's not the highest point, the Donald Trump conversation. A lot of it actually just has to do with the future and what we can look forward to. But Donald Trump is going to affect that, so it is a part of the conversation. For me, I liked Fear of a Feminist Future the best, which was by Lori Penny, and that one appeared in The Baffler, October 17th, 2016, so before Donald Trump had been elected. And I really enjoyed that one, and I think it's really interesting. There was a lot of points to it that were predicting some very scary elements that still may come to fruition. I think that in general, this collection is really, really well done. It's really well executed, and it has a lot of great points. I myself would recommend it to somebody who's interested in politics and the future and also in climate change. I wouldn't necessarily recommend it to somebody who's not political. I think that if you're not a political person, this collection is going to bore you and it's going to feel a lot of preachiness coming from it, but I definitely think that it is worth reading if you're interested in politics and seeing different sides of the conversation. I do recommend this. I was sent this by Unnamed Press. I will be doing a full in-depth review of this with some other Unnamed Press books in the future, so keep an eye out for that. Next, we have Where Am I Now? True Stories from a Girlhood and Accidental Fame by Mara Wilson. Mara Wilson is the actress who plays Matilda, and she's in Miracle on 34th Street and A Simple Wish. She was also in Mrs. Doubtfire. She was one of my all-time favorite actresses as a child. I adored her, and so it was really, really nice to read her story now and to kind of catch up with her almost. It like kind of felt like just chatting with a friend, and kind of catching up on them with their life and how their existence has been and what they've experienced in life. And hers was a really honest conversation. It was really, really well thought out. It had a lot of charm to it. It was so well crafted, and I think that for me as a fan of her, I felt really, really taken care of, and like I was being told some really clear truths that were really important, rather than just kind of sugarcoating what her life was like and whether or not she enjoyed her fame. It was a really, really honest conversation. So I definitely recommend this if you were a fan of Mara Wilson. If you're not, I would go watch Matilda, fall in love with her, and then read it. So that would be my recommendation to you. I do recommend this book. I think it was a really nice memoir. I really enjoyed this memoir. So definitely recommend that. Antifa, the Anti-Fascist Handbook by Mark Bray. I'm going to be honest, I read this closer to the beginning of the month. Not the beginning, but like the middle of the month. It's been about 2 weeks. And I feel nothing towards it. It really infuriated me. It made me feel a lot of frustration. It made me kind of question my own reality and my own morals and what I believe is right and wrong, and it made me really sad that we think we can only fight violence with violence, and I was really upset by this book. If you think you can handle that, great. But if you're like me and you feel really strongly that violence should not beget violence, like, this may not be for you. I wouldn't recommend it. I feel really strongly that the anti-fascist movement is somewhat violent, and I don't think that's the answer to fascism. So, there's that. Then I couldn't help myself because I felt really big urges to read Shirley Jackson after reading her memoir and continuing to read her memoir a second time. And so Shirley Jackson's The Lottery is what I ended up reading, and this is a graphic novel. So it's not technically written by Shirley Jackson, so I didn't cheat and read any of her books earlier than a year in advance. So it was good. I enjoyed it. I think that I would have, this is the, I don't want to give anything away if you haven't read The Lottery yet. This is the art style. I think that there's some really nice, there's very little words in it. It's very poignant and it's very harsh. It's a really cold bite of reality, but that's what The Lottery is. Yeah, I enjoyed it. I think it was good. I don't think it was the best execution that could have been done. It is written by Miles Hyman, who is her grandson, I believe. Yes, her grandson. So it is written by her grandson. So it's from the same family, and it really was done with love. So I really appreciated that. And I think overall it's a decent graphic novel that if you like Shirley Jackson and you like The Lottery, you will enjoy this. Oh my gosh. Then we have this. This is amazing. This is a picture book. This is The Little Red Wolf, and it is so sweet, you guys. It is so sweet. I absolutely adore this. I think it is the cutest, most fun, just magical story about a little wolf and his experience with humans, and it's just so wonderful, you guys. I don't want to spoil anything because it is a picture book, so I'm not going to give you any of the plot, but it does have to do with a wolf, and that's all I'm going to tell you. It is really cute, like really cute. I really enjoyed it. If you're looking for a good picture book to pick up, that's a good one. The next three were all 5-star reads for me. Furiously Happy was also a 5-star read for me, but it was a reread, so we're not going to put it in the top books of the month. But anyway, yeah, so if you guys want to see my top 5 books of the month, comment down below. So this is The Time in Between by Nancy Tucker, a memoir of hunger and hope, and this talks about eating disorders. I'm going to be honest, ever since I lost a bunch of weight with my surgery and my illness, I have felt really out of my own body. I haven't felt connected to myself at all, and I felt really ashamed of the fact that I lost weight the way I did. And so this book really kind of helped me reconnect with my body, reconnect with my experience, and reassess my own relationship with food and my own relationship with my body and how it interacts. I think that for me, this was a really important book, and it really talked a lot about what it's like to live with an eating disorder and how scary and unnerving and overwhelming that can really be, and what that looks like in a person, just a normal person every day. I think, yeah, it's a good memoir. It's really solid. It has a little bit of mixed media in it, which was fun, but all in all, I definitely recommend this. I think it's fabulous. How to Be a Heroine, or What I've Learned from Reading Too Much by Samantha Ellis. I went into this book assuming Samantha Ellis was a white woman. Not the case. She is an Iranian Jew. I got so much more out of this knowing that it didn't come from a white woman, because it felt so much more prevalent to listen to somebody talk about the experience of these white, mostly all white, feminist heroines and see them through the perspective of somebody who is not of the same race. I really thought that it intensified the message, and it really solidified the overall tone of it. I thought it was brilliant. I definitely recommend it, and I do plan to read Samantha Ellis's other book, which is Take Courage, which is about Ambrante. I think this is fabulous. The only thing that was really kind of bothersome was that it spoiled a lot of books for me. However, I am okay with it. I have come to terms with the fact that it is going to spoil things for me, and it has spoiled things for me, but I'm okay with it, and I'm very lucky because I have a disorder that makes me forget things. So maybe I'll get lucky and I'll forget these things. Who knows? And then last but not least, this is my 600 to 1,000 page book for the month. This is The Revolution of Morena M, and it is by Janet Fitch. I listened to this on audio. I gave it 5 stars. I highly recommend it. I think it is a better overall novel than White Oleander, but I do like White Oleander better as a novel. I think that this is a really beautiful story about a young girl who is trying to come to terms with her growing up during the Russian Revolution and trying to come to terms with what is fair to expect of people and what is fair to expect of society, and to kind of try and help those who are less fortunate than her. It really inspired me to kind of try and reach out to anyone who is less fortunate than me, and to try and be a part of the solution rather than a part of the problem, and to be more aware of current events, and even if it makes me uncomfortable and a little bit unsecure in my own existence. I definitely recommend this book. I think it's really good. I would recommend getting it on Audible just because it is so long and there's a lot of words that are in Russian. So I listened to it with an audio narrator who spoke Russian, so I knew the words pronounced were correct. And that felt a lot better than me trying to pronounce them in my head. So yes, definitely a good read. Oh my goodness, it's so heavy. It's so heavy. Let's see if this is cool enough. Yeah, that's the right temperature. Yay! Alright, so that has been my November wrap-up, and I will see you guys in my next video. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you loved it, click that subscribe button. And if you have any questions, comments, or quandaries, go ahead and leave them down below in the comments. I will see you all in my next video. Bye.